Hello, and a very warm welcome to yet another exciting brand new episode of Simply Electric, this time featuring the all-new Renault 5 E-Tech. Renault 5 has seemingly been around for I don't know how long, but it wasn't available for very long. I also know him from my youth, and now Renault has managed to revamp the Renault 5, so to speak, from the past into something modern, fresh, and digital. For the future, however, I think it retained a certain retro charm and just made the whole thing. I believe it's brilliantly conveyed, and maybe that's an idea for other manufacturers to seriously consider. Not always inventing something new, but taking the chance to rethink and redesign what's already there in creative ways. Yes, we have it as the Techno 150 comfort range, which means we have 150 horsepower on board here. We have an onboard battery with a net capacity of 52 kilowatt hours, and it starts, as we have it here, at 30,900 euros. Before we start the video, I would like to ask you to check if you're already part of the Einfach electric community. If not, we'd be happy if you supported us with a subscription. It's entirely free for you, yet it truly helps us significantly. I would be really thrilled if you could join us in this effort in the future. And in return, you always get the latest videos about electromobility. I would suggest we don't waste any more time. Let's jump right in and get started with the impressive brand new Renault. Hey. And as always, we start from the outside, starting from the front, looking at the front end of the brand new Renault 5. And Renault has brilliantly managed to transport the classic elements, which I still fondly remember from my youth, into the modern era in a truly fresh and contemporary way. It all begins with the Renault logo, which is beautifully crafted in a sleek silvery or brushed metallic finish, giving it an incredibly elegant appearance. It's not just splashed on in some basic white, grey or silver. Moreover, we're equipped with these stunning LED headlights here, which include the intricate light silhouette inside them, adding to the overall sophistication. We have the striking French tricolour included here, and of course down here we also have a beautifully designed LED daytime running light, all in a truly stunning midnight blue. Personally, I find this midnight blue really stylish and impressively chic. I believe that's even metallic paint, if I'm seeing it correctly, with such beautifully fine mineral content. That's really amazing. It actually looks quite high quality. We have also got the battery indicator displayed here along with a screen. So when you're charging, you can see from outside how far the battery level is. Those are such little details, I think, Stefan, yet they somehow make it truly special.
Yeah, look, just like the French rooster you see over here. You're talking about the rooster, aren't you? Yes, that's correct, the rooster.
Because, of course, the French absolutely deserve it. We love to share with everyone. What has also been generously given, not only winter tires now for the winter season, but also winter tires in a sleek, glossy black finish that for once don't seem so electrified and aerodynamically distorted in appearance.
Not really like that.
Well, they really do look quite chic. Then above that, we have the charging port, what it can or can't do. You'll of course find out more about this later in the video. And here we have another nice embedded silhouette again with Renault 5. And I have to say, when you combine it with the black pearl black roof, which can be mixed in this style, like pairing blue with black, I find it absolutely incredibly cool. And then take a look at these lines, these wrinkles. I never really liked that. No chrome, no gold, no bronze, no anything else.
Make it black.
Except for glossy black, but I think it suits it.
Yeah, there's something special about that.
That's quite similar to just that tiny little pinch of salt.
Certainly.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, the French are doing a lot right, even though it starts at 32,900 euros. I know that's a hell of a lot of money for such a small car, but they do get a lot right. What bothers me the most, though, is that the lights keep going on and off here, because I definitely want to show you the tail lights really nicely in a moment. Here, the door handle is nicely recessed at the top. I think it's great, and it has quite a solid sound. Whether it has good interior noise, we'll certainly find out. And this golden line up above, they've elegantly wrapped it all the way around the rear spoiler section. Let's examine it in detail. First, the wide view. That shows the entire rear. Let's first have a thorough and careful look before we soon delve into the very specific details. And in that aspect, the new Renault 5 also kind of echoes the old one. It now features modern LED taillights. Once more, there's a noticeable break here with Renault, prominently highlighting the 5 for Renault 5. With a keen attention to detail and a well-crafted rear apron underneath, everything comes together in a wonderfully harmonious way, looking very chic and stylish. And yeah, it really goes to show the kind of love and effort that manufacturers are capable of putting into these amazing retro modernizations. What's essential here is definitely a rear wiper. I really wish it was neatly integrated into the spoiler, making the line all smoothly seamless like a baby's bottom, right?
Sure, yeah.
And the rear spoiler up here, I know there's a sporty version from Renault or from Alpine specifically. It would have been really nice if it had been just a bit more performant, of course.
Yep.
Well, there's always room for a bit more, and of course, what can't be missed here in the Black Pearl is, of course, a big, fat, ugly shark lock. Renault, what's going on with you? Why can't you do it like other manufacturers? Think about Leap Motor, all right? 18,900 euros, that was included, right?
Right, exactly.
So if the Chinese can do it for 18,900 euros, then the French can integrate it too, right?
Certainly.
Yes, the golden one here again, very, very nicely wrapped around, then up to the front side mirror. I must say, exterior design gets a straight A. If we come back here, Stefan, and take a look from a distance, it really does have quite a wide stance.
Definitely.
Well, the older model, that is to say, the very first Renault 5 seemed somewhat more slender. Let's talk about the proportions. The Renault 5 is 3.92 meters long, 1.80 meters, and 8 meters wide, so rounded up, 1.81 meters. And with side mirrors, a good 2.02 meters. In terms of height, it's 1.48 meters, rounded up 1.49 meters, right, Stefan? Certainly, let's get that straight. For comparison, I'm 1 meter 85. The wheelbase measures 2 meters and 54 centimeters. And in between, there is a 400-volt battery system with 52 kilowatt hours net and 50 kilowatt hours gross are charged right up here at the front, as I've previously hinted to you, using AC with a 3-phase current that reaches up to 11 kilowatts, and then additionally on DC with a capacity of up to 100 kilowatts at its peak performance. On average, it then charges from 10 to 80% at approximately 70 kilowatts, which means it should be fully recharged from 10 to 80% in a time frame of about 33 minutes. Yes, those are certainly decent figures, but to be fair, not top-notch values.
No, that's glitter glaze better.
But in the end, it's generally assumed that with such a 3.92 meter long vehicle, you might frequently find yourself traveling on short to medium distances and not really going on long trips. And if you do decide to take such a trip for a vacation journey, I believe you can afford to plan a little extra time so you can fully enjoy traveling with such a chic and stylish Renault 5. And let's see how well he can do that by taking a look under the front hood. And of course, we'll also be checking out behind the tailgate together with you. Whenever we take a look under the hood, we typically expect to find a frunk. However, it's unfortunate that with Renault 5, that's simply not something we can anticipate finding. Because anything is possible here. So starting with the electric motor that drives the front axle with 110 kilowatts, 150 horsepower, and 292 newton meters of torque. It should accelerate from 0 to 100 in about 8 seconds, and the top speed will definitely test that together with you later. I would have wished that there was at least a little possibility for a frunk here to at least store the Type 2 charging cable and maybe a Schuko emergency set, don't you think?
It'd be nice, yes.
And then possibly at best even 2 range hoods, right?
Indeed, precisely.
Could have indulged too, right?
Aye.
Because then we would have stuck this little stick here into happiness, which does seem really wobbly, right? Here with the tiny recording. We could have really skipped that, huh?
Sure thing.
Let's see if he also cut corners on sound quality. Let's perform the hood test.
3, 2, 1, and now here we go.
Satisfied. Unfortunately, the look under the front hood showed that we don't have a frunk. Currently, we would like to offer you a detailed glimpse behind the rear panel, so to speak. Sadly, it doesn't open by itself at first, right?
No, sadly no.
Well, Renault doesn't even allow for a small electric tailgate for 32,900 euros. Others don't do it either, so there's not really much to criticize. Inside, there's a total of 326 liters of storage space available. Everything is neatly carpeted with lights and convenient hooks for hanging bags. Here's a hard plastic material with a bit of scratch sensitivity. I think it really does have quite a high loading edge. Yes.
That's the issue right there. So you have to carefully lift the water crate over it like this once more again. Go ahead and show how that works, please.
And then it goes down here again.
Quite deep, exactly.
The colleague Ben Scheiber has had this guy here twice.
Definitely, yes.
In the end, it's certainly supposed to serve crash safety too. You probably have to, in some way maybe, make compromises. And 326 liters, I think, are fine for the vehicle size. But what's missing here is, look, Stefan, we don't have a big double loading floor here. Down here, we can stash a few odds and ends. Maybe in a pinch, we can even squeeze in a Type 2 charging cable.
But then it's vinegar.
So, and yes, definitely. And now it's sliding back and forth again and doesn't go down. So the demonstration effect. And then, of course, we also have the option to remove this little parcel shelf here. She's cute, right?
Yeah, she is cute.
All right, here it is. Let's very cautiously place it aside here, ensuring we don't cause any sort of damage. So, and then we have a rear seat, which can be divided into two separate halves. So on one hand, we have here, as it were, 60% section on the driver's side. The seat needs to be moved a bit further forward, but I moved it back again. That's my application error. And we can fold that. What we don't have here is a division or a pass-through for skis or similar long items. Instead, usually when you have the long item, you need to fold down about 60% and you see it. Because we lack the classic double loading floor, it might be available as an accessory or with other versions. It doesn't have a flat loading area either.
Yeah, sadly.
So then here again, about 40% around the passenger side, and you've expanded the 326 liters of storage to 1,000 liters. Yes.
Okay, yes?
It's like the Dacia Spring Electric for volume. Yeah. How do I know that when we just filmed it?
Oh, a cheeky rascal who truly thinks of evil.
And what Renault obviously allows is hard plastic here.
Yes, good.
That was with the Dacia Spring Electric R Blanco.
Right, exactly. There was absolutely nothing left.
And I have good news. You might even get it for 32.9 if you negotiate a bit and you take two Dacia Spring Electric 2, since it starts at 16.9. If the Renault or Dacia dealer is generous,
Car dealers will soon start with 2-for-1 offers. I like that.
think MG on the MG4.
There it is.
So what doesn't work electrically just can't.
Switch to electric logically.
That means basically we have the lever to happiness in the hard plastic here, and then we've closed it again. There's no soft close or anything like that behind it. It's still all good and old manual, just like my 93 Golf. Yeah, I couldn't find the roof load. If any of you have information, feel free to share it in the comments for the community. And towing hitch is probably optional, right? With 500 kilograms towing capacity, braked or unbraked, indeed. They didn't specify the nose weight either.
Sadly, nothing given, sorry.
So we need to take a closer look at the bike rear carrier for all the enthusiasts of the fine art of bike rear carrier sports and possibly consider using it within the city as well. I'm originally from Hanover, where there's the beautiful Maschsee. Nearby we had a feeding area with the Stone or Sea. Sometimes we went out, from the Maschsee or outward. And you might want to bring your bikes. I mean, you can manage all that well with public transit nowadays. But it would also be an option if you had a bike rack on the back. Yes, absolutely. And then you have the ride support. It's nice. There's even a tow hitch option. Yes.
Better than nothing, as I always say.
And with half a ton, you can at the very least attach a bicycle rack or a storage box, or maybe even, perhaps even a tiny garden waste trailer could fit over there.
That's absolutely right indeed.
But for a horse, boat, or
it gets tight in the caravan.
Outside, we've shown you everything. Let's go inside. We're doing the window check. Our unit for 35.700 Euro lacks double glazing. Not sure if that's available. It's not always necessarily a downside, since things can often be quite well insulated. You typically don't need two glass panes with a film in between. Yeah, door panel. We have a hard plastic here. There's no foam padding either. For those individuals who enjoy frequently resting their elbow comfortably right here, you might call them the elbow drivers. They definitely notice such things. Well,
okay.
Then we have this denim fabric here. I think it looks really chic. Then here's a black lacquered door handle. Some might say, yeah, piano lacquer finish. I don't find it too dramatic with the door handle, even though it looks a tad greasy over here. Certainly we have this faux leather right here, and it's not foam-backed at all. It's completely rock hard, ideal for those who would like to rest their elbow a layer lower down. So here we have a fry stand, window buttons, and mirror adjust. And down here, the army of hard plastic paired with the slightly more premium plastic. But somehow I find myself lacking the proper stance or grip needed to confidently stand on the bottle. That's kind of awkwardly managed. Awkward indeed. You can really openly say it feels a bit awkwardly forced, if we're honest.
Unhappy, I think unhappy.
Yes, and of course we have hard plastic here for easy entry as well.
At least you have a nice 5-offer doormat.
It's great.
You're going into those little details again there.
Yes, exactly like the rooster up there in the window, the rooster up front, truly excellent. A warm welcome to the lovely interior of the Renault 5 Techno 150 Comfort Charge. Indeed, on board, we do not have a head-up display to start with. Then we have a really nice, expansive driver display, which is attractively and beautifully sleek in its design. I really like it. It's modern, it's stylish. We have a steering wheel that we can adjust in height and distance, can adjust the hold, which I find really nicely done. Feels very, very nice. Haptically, we have clear buttons here that we can also operate. I like that very, very much. We then have the multi-sense button here where we can switch between eco, sport, personal comfort. Change the drive mode. I think it's also cool, nicely within reach. No need to search anywhere. We have a perforation inside for those who appreciate some refined hand sweat. So it's not so sweaty. I mean, everything is pretty cool, right?
The horn?
Yeah, that works. Sounds typical for Renault, right? And then we have the Google package here. You probably have to take that for a bit of an extra charge because the car costs $35,700. And here we have these stylish air vents that also somewhat adopt the look of the daytime running lights. Here we've got the air conditioning control menu once more, featuring a finger edge, as well as the hazard lights and central locking. I find it really nicely done. We then have here in this small display, I think there's also a larger version, the possibility to integrate Apple CarPlay into the existing infotainment system where we also already have Google Automotive as a part. We've shown this in various features and options. It's one of the top systems with seamless integration for electric vehicles. That means if we now say, drive us to Munich to Viktualienmarkt 1, yeah, then it usually works really perfectly. And he did transfer it correctly, but maybe something's not connected again here, that it's not working at this moment. Yes. Because I think if we were to enter Munich here now, then it would probably somehow be able to navigate us there, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, take a look. He's handling it, so we're ready to begin now. Everything proceeds quickly and effortlessly, just like that, with no complications or delays. Then, with any luck, he should effectively incorporate the necessary loading plan into our workflow or process. He does that too. He actually planned for 2 charging stops. So from that perspective, no, he has planned just 1 stop here for now. For the other route, he has planned for 2 charging stops. And with that setup, everything should go smoothly and without any issues. Naturally, we also have various possibilities to further enhance and optimize that specifically in the realm of charging and load planning. So you can integrate filters here for charging card providers, filter the speed of the charging station and so on, which is quite a remarkable feature indeed. Then we have a standard menu here equipped with the most modern tiles, and we are also future-proof via the Play Store. So, if any exciting or innovative apps emerge in the future, like maybe YouTube or any similar ones, you'd surely appreciate watching a delightful fully electric episode during a leisurely 33-minute charging break. That's all possible here, extending even to vehicle control. Everything is modern, colorful, and up to date, handled appropriately to suit our needs, reaching out to incredible things which you can easily activate in the driver assistance features. However, we plan to test all of this with you later during the driving report, including distance warning and displaying risk areas, including the parking lot with ultrasound. Let's see if there's a rear view camera, and so that's all pretty neat, isn't it?
Yeah, all you need is there.
Yes, we've already sorted out the air conditioning with the main button separately. I think that's good. You can remember that and do it pretty quickly while driving without being distracted. We don't have a head-up display, but it's not common for this vehicle class either. And we have a Harman Kardon sound system included here in the 35.7. That's a cool feature too. Yes, parking brake, auto hold function, and a little tray where you can maybe put coins or other bits and bobs. Then we've got a couple of USB-C ports, along with a 12-volt outlet, which is always nice to have. And there's also an inductive charging option where even large smartphones can comfortably fit. Here we also have a rubberized area, then the option to place something, but this inductive charging surface doesn't have cooling.
Simply take a look.
Then there's Renault. If you treat yourself to a nice chic leather bag, we really should check if it's always included or something extra you have to buy. Yes.
I'm quite aware of that.
I once drove a Renault as my company car at Rottweiss Erfurt. I only had the key here, just like here.
I also had a Renault back then. We even just had a card back then. Cool, right? Yeah. but there was a slot. You had to put it in.
But what was genuinely cool, and I always enjoyed using it a lot, was this key right here. Yes, it fits in the 5th pocket of the 5-pocket jeans.
It's naturally perfect.
I've always wondered why the 5-pocket jeans have 5 pockets like the Renault 5. But I think perhaps the inventor might have been thinking of the Renault key, right? Yes, let's move on. We have 2 cup holders here, one a bit larger, one smaller, with a divider, also with a rubber insert. All right, we'll measure the interior noise with you later. Here we have another storage compartment, which goes really deep down, perfect for stashing a bunch of stuff, but sadly without felt or carpet lining. They skimped on rubber here, right? Yeah.
Good.
So there's Plaster Roberto Blanco on board, right?
Indeed.
Sure. Nevertheless, they do provide a center armrest. It's actually quite excellent from an ergonomic perspective when I'm sitting here, as it's specially shaped in such a way that I can comfortably rest my elbows on it. Up here, as mentioned, it's possible too, but both parts are only slightly foamed. In this area, a bit more foaming could be beneficial. Adding a little extra foaming would have enhanced the texture quite nicely. Well, okay, I know I shouldn't always dwell on such little things, but it is important for some people.
Yep, right.
Yes, what I really, really like, which I already showed you at Otto Zurich, are these tiles here in the headliner. Yes.
That's truly something else.
This is a lovely felt rug here.
Sure, yeah.
It might even possibly be recycled material again. Yes.
Surely.
2 sun visors here, even equipped with a bit of light. That way you can nicely check if your hairstyle is in place, or maybe also if your teeth are in the right position, don't you think? For all the fans of nimble bite sports. So in that sense, they thought of everything with the Renault 5.
Sure, yeah.
The view through the passenger door shows you this open silhouette once again. We don't have any additional storage compartment here below where we might be able to stash a men's bag or a women's bag. Where Renault really treats us, I think, is with the seats. And here too, we have this nice denim fabric again. I think that also comes with a small extra charge, paired with a bit of faux leather, a nice stitch, and also a color accent here. Nice wide support here in the lumbar area. I'm curious to see if it really provides lateral support when we take some quick turns. Down here, a nice thigh support too, so it really looks quite sporty.
Yeah, very sporty, I was about to say.
Here too, with ribbing and seams, showing again much attention to detail, up to the almost integrated headrest, adjustable in height, but it doesn't include any additional comfort features. Yeah, the denim fabric, it continues here seamlessly on the dashboard as well. I must say it looks nice with the midnight blue.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it looks great.
White stitching with a sort of piano finish here, but no one actually touches it. Hard plastic is on top here. We're familiar with it. I don't mind at all. And below we have another glove box, again made from the finest hard. How do you always nicely say it?
Box.
Exactly. There's no felt, carpet, nothing at all. And down here, everything is hard plastic. Yes? Yes, then here on the B-pillar we have El Clapiron, the man with the belt where no second person is seated. We all know it already. It's just somehow a new standard. And here we don't even have that nice felt from the ceiling pulled down, at least to this point.
No, that wasn't enough.
That's what most people do, at least up to here, you know? And then here, plastic. But Renault is like, come on now, what's all this fuss about? Let's just make it from top to bottom. And once along the door, then we have something like an entry point, symbol, or something nice.
Unfortunately not.
So no Puma. Now, we're not in Ford Puma, right?
Not hens.
So if you're interested in the Ford Puma, we've also made a nice video about it. Feel free to check it out in the playlist. Perhaps it's an alternative to the Renault 5, so if something here doesn't suit your taste, then head over to the Puma, okay? Because he's got a nice Puma right here in the door, huh?
Exactly right. But what he has here, he even has a child's ISOFIX in the front.
That's really great, right? With 2 more in the back, he'd have 3 child ISOFIX. That's definitely sporty, and then you can comfortably place the little one up front here without any trouble. Quite convenient, wouldn't you agree? We also want to do the rear seat test with you. I am 1,85 meters tall, weigh a delicate 99,9 kilos, and we want to try getting into the Renault 5 here. That smoothly slides through the door, and then OLLI is already inside.
And how do we feel?
The burlap, once it's in place, it's in place.
When you're in, you're in.
Well, it's nice and comfortable here. The padding is really nice. Well, we don't really have much side support. I'm a bit sad that Renault doesn't provide a center armrest.
Here? An emergency seat? Who's to sit in the middle?
Well, I don't know. Well, maybe it's kind of cool when you have kids that you can transport 3 small children, right? It can be really fluffy. I think the mix of materials here is really chic. With denim fabric here, then black fabric.
Yes, that's really chic, yes.
So Renault doesn't put any leather anywhere else, just at the front, right? Yeah. And so at the back here, from what I can observe, I don't see any USB-C ports or really anything else of that sort either, correct?
No, is there a flap or something? No.
Well, it appears that Renault is not showcasing much generosity in this regard, apart from providing a pair of ISOFIX mountings, an additional third headrest, and fabric upholstery found here on the rear seat area of the car. They do treat themselves to that. Ah, look, that's very nice. Oh, look.
About to say.
72 was the first.
Yes, 80, 84, and 24. I can see it. It's really been 40 years.
That's impressive. 52 years. Renault 5.
Yes, very good.
Yes, so this is truly quite well done. A tablet can definitely fit in here, as well as a smartphone or whatever else you might need. And then, of course, you have the hard plastic here again, where the seatbelt sits on and could possibly rattle. We know that. By the way, we also don't have any air vents back here. I can only fit my feet under the front seat if it's not all the way down. We noticed that with you just now, when you filmed the car, that you couldn't get your feet under the seat. You're living a little bit restricted here, although the available headroom is quite generous.
That's good, yes, definitely.
Well, you have to give some praise here. What Renault doesn't provide are holders here in case the driver is a bit sportier. By the way, I heard it's not 292 Newton meters, but 245. We'll find out if it actually matters during the driving report. And what really doesn't work at all, Renault, we already know that from VW, and I had to strongly criticize this again, is how can you make such a hard plastic door in the back? In the front, they put in some effort, add a bit of denim material, make everything a bit stylish with at least some faux leather without padding, and back here it's just plain Roberto Blanco plastic.
There's absolutely nothing whatsoever here at all.
I don't understand Renault. If that's what it comes down to in the end, then make the car feel 100 euros more expensive, and at least have everything consistent all around, rather than cutting corners and economizing on everything down to the third decimal place. I simply can't wrap my head around it. Why do car manufacturers behave like that in some cases? Do you understand it?
No, not quite.
Soon the rear hand crank will be up front. Yes.
Yeah.
Will it really save you cash?
Drive electronics, just think about it.
In short, we've shown you all aspects, both outside and inside. I'm genuinely thrilled to be joining you for the comprehensive and detailed drive report. We'll ignite the Renault 5 and embark on an exciting journey for the extensive drive report.
It's a nice loud blinker.
I always think it's fantastic when car manufacturers make those extroverted blinker noises.
Absolutely. We're both big fans of that subtle little mechanical click sound. It's everything we really need.
But what I really don't get is this set of levers. There's the drive mode switch up top, crafted nicely with the crystal and the Renault logo. Then you have the wiper lever, and below are the volume controls.
Modes.
Like in 3 tiers, like a tiered stand, you know? Yeah.
Exactly, it fits.
Absolutely sensational. Yes, let's go ahead and try out the Harman Kardon sound system here, because the interface is actually working today. But he could really do it, right?
Oh, nice bass. So that's perfectly fine then.
Regarding this little speedster here, it's been executed in a truly remarkable way. Obviously, it likely depends on the sound and the specific setup used. That can sound a bit droning, but I have to say I like it.
Yes, yeah.
We're truly eager to take you along on our charming little winding road right here with 70 masterful riders. I now have a heated steering wheel.
Yes!
So it's scorching hot here, but this spot up here is not heated.
Warm.
Not sure if the heating coil was too costly for Renault, so they didn't indulge. For the old Manta drivers, you know, see here.
Tackling their challenges with an unwaveringly persistent and thoroughly committed attitude around here.
Positions that have cold pause, but at 70 it slides smoothly through. I find it nicely firm, comfortable. That means it also feels very sporty, almost a bit like, well, not quite a go-kart feeling. That's perhaps something that's reserved for the Mini. Back in the day though, it was still somehow good anyway. We really want to try out the turning circle with you in the Renault 5, and honestly, we've got 10 meters and 30 centimeters, which means it goes really nicely around Stefan, holding tight. So in that respect, it's really quite fun and an enjoyable experience, and the 110 kilowatts along with the power of 245 meters really requires a solid bit of handling skills. The CSB system always regulates quite nicely here along with the traction control, keeping things smooth. So with the Renault 5, you can definitely have some enjoyable enjoyable fun in such a turning circle. That worked well. And if parking also works out, Stefan, then we really have a proper city runabout with 3.92 meters.
Definitely, right?
Yeah, no space to fit in. Someone parked quite generously here again at Trollenhagen Airport. And naturally, we want to see if, besides the bands glistening in the sun, we can also manage to park in reverse nicely, right? And here again, we have a camera that is slightly pixelated.
Yeah, 720p, if at all.
That reminds me of Dead Shear Spring Electric.
Yes, a mischief maker who thinks ill of it, but alright.
Better to have one than none, don't you think?
Yes.
Well, we haven't installed the 360-degree camera system in this vehicle here. In the driving mode, you can actually make a choice between drive and brake options. We've opted for brake because it recuperates a bit more strongly, but even he gets around here like the Duchess Brake Electric Easy with its 10.40 meters. Yes, and it sets off smoothly with a nice bit of skidding action. We've got a front engine with front-wheel drive, and especially with some steering lock and a little bit of slump, it truly likes to skid a bit now and then.
Yes, absolutely.
We want to measure the interior noise with you at 50 kilometers per hour. (61-62 decibels). That's similar to the VW ID.3, which also had around 60-61 decibels. Let's drive 70 kilometers per hour. That's nice and quiet, 63-64 decibels. Just for comparison, the ID.3 was at 70 decibels. We're accelerating to 100. (71-72 decibels), and that's certainly a pleasing measurement. The ID.3 in comparison was around the mid-70s decibels. The adaptive cruise control is on, and we want to find out how exactly it performs here. Here comes 70. Yeah, and he's not really doing anything, so I really have to step on the gas now. He does indicate 70 on the speed recognition here, but he has not gone ahead and actually adjusted the speed to 70 or anything like that. I can't quite understand what's meant to be adaptive here. Now we're about to leave the 70 zone and enter into the open road once more. You must also recognize that with traffic sign recognition, but it only really detects at the height of the sign, and then I basically have to press here for a long time again, so it somehow ends up back at 100. Well, I have definitely perceived this much better before than it unfortunately appears to be with our test subject now. Wouldn't you agree, Stefan?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping for a bit more too.
I mean, that was really good from memory in the Renault Scenic. I'm not sure exactly why he's having his issues here right now. However, we definitely have the high and low beam functions within the car's lighting system. Of course, the car lights need to be properly turned on and activated. We are able very nicely and conveniently to adjust the distance in 4 different levels here. And what he also seems to have, I certainly believe, is definitely a lane keeping assistance feature. We'll find out later on the highway if it also has a steering assistant by testing it out a bit more precisely around the curve. We're making our way out of another village here. I've stumbled upon this intriguing button once more. This could maybe be the solution. So now there's a 70 sign. It only really recognizes it when you're at the sign, not before. It's like the camera doesn't seem to look far enough ahead, and you have the option to press this button here, which will then enable it to adopt the speed that's displayed on the sign. Okay, we'll remain here for now. Basically, there's actually no type of steering support available to us in this system. We're definitely lacking good lane keeping assistance here. I think it's safer not to test it now to avoid any mishaps. And now we actually have the free tone. Now keep an eye on this. Now it's really taken over. Now I'm going to press the button, and then it essentially becomes seamlessly integrated into the adaptive cruise control system. All right, let's be serious here for a second, Renault.
Today I'm thinking of adaptable, but also something else.
Exactly. So we learned that adaptively, he then sort of, well, when he recognizes the sign, he also adjusts accordingly. Some require you to confirm with a button press.
Mainly, it detects noise, and as it drops from 100 to 70, it reduces speed. No.
That's predictive. Oh,
It's predictive, exactly.
then it has navigation data, and it also has an ultra long range camera as an additional feature, because the camera here really only transmits at, let's say, vehicle height. And if you're unlucky and they set their speed camera really close, with minimal distance, it can get tight.
You can often rush into that quite easily. Yeah, that's true.
So definitely keep a close eye out when you're adjusting the speed in the Renault 5. We've now finally arrived at our ultimate test track. I've changed it over to sports mode. Let's go ahead and do the launch. Stefan, could you give us a countdown? 3, 2, 1, go! He smoothly channels the power of 110 kilowatts right into the seat. 30, 50, 70, 80, 90, and then 100 kilometers per hour. Now we proceed with the brake check and really stomp on it thoroughly. Nobody is behind us. It really did a good job, didn't it?
That was really quite excellent. The brake has definitely caught on very well. And so now we have obtained the values. 0 to 60 in 4.18, 0 to 100 in 8.96, and from 100 to 0 in 3.07.
Yeah, I'd say let's follow up with another launch right away. We want to hit the factory spec somehow, right? Absolutely. Let's count down. 3, 2, 1, go. We're off. Starting at 10, moving to 20, then 30, onto 40, reaching 50, climbing to 60, advancing to 70, up to 80, then 90. Hitting 100. Now let's proceed with another brake check. Really hit the brakes hard, and even the second time, he decelerates really well. Stefan, what does the Draghi, our GPS, show?
So 0 to 60, we have 4.14, 0 to 100, 8.95, so a bit faster, and from 100 to 0, 2.99 this time.
All right, so when the brakes get some temperature, they seem to grip even better, though we're almost a full second slower than what the factory specifications indicate here. Of course, we have winter tires. It's around 6 or 7 degrees today, relatively chilly, but we hardly have any slip. It's not even damp anymore. I honestly would have expected he could go a little bit faster.
I was just about to say we would have granted it to him in width.
We're eager to take a drive on the highway with you. Let's accelerate smoothly up to 70 and then really put the pedal to the metal. We're at 90, then we hit 100 and climb further up to 120. Yes, reaching a solid 130 km/h, it really pulls through quite well. We're at a speed of 150 and then we shift smoothly over to the left lane. Yes, however, it kind of seems to reach its maximum limit at around 155 or so.
On the right lane, it's officially set at 150. They do allow us an extra 5.
Pretty fancy, isn't it?
Exactly, that's right.
Yeah, I'm supposed to keep control here at the wheel. That's funny.
You're using both hands.
Exactly, we're now switching here to the adaptive, what do you call it? Tempo mat. Exactly, but I mean, it already sounds like it doesn't have any steering assistance. Maybe it will be available in an additional package or not at all. I would definitely treat the vehicle to it.
Definitely, yes, it deserves it.
Because that's also somewhat relevant to safety. You're often distracted. It's so easy to drift out of the lane when you're lost in thought, somehow inattentive. And if at that moment you have a bit of steering support or even an active lane keeping assistant to assist you, it can really be quite helpful. That would be quite cool. Let's try it here. Plenty of space around us. We're now moving at 154 kilometers per hour. We'll do that at the right turn. Yeah, he kind of does. Did you see?
He pulls you in, yes.
Much better on the highway than on the country road. We practically drove into the oncoming lane there. We tested it out without a camera beforehand, so you won't all be worrying about us again. But at least that's how it works. At least we have avoided the situation of getting onto the other lane.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the steering assistant will be available in a special package again. I would honestly really wish that for the individuals who would like to maybe drive a Renault 5 for medium or long distances.
Sure.
That they can also access somewhat more extensive semi-autonomous support as an alternative to the adaptive cruise control system. It's peaceful, I think, at 155.
Yes, very soothing indeed.
I switched to sports again. Somehow everything just wasn't fast enough for me. Here we can smoothly navigate a curve. It's got that go-kart vibe. It tends to push a bit over the front axle, which is quite a common characteristic with front-wheel drive vehicles of this type. Here we can smoothly accelerate up to a speed of 80. As we enter the highway, we reach 100, 110, and then smoothly continue to 120. However, it doesn't really move along much faster in sport mode, reaching 130, then 140, and finally 150.
Yes.
Then we're back to, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, we can see each other, 155. He doesn't want to, does he?
Still no, bashful.
Nah, he somehow doesn't really seem to want to. It went a bit after 155. Oh, that's quite nice to see that it also gladly grants the 155 going back the other way. Well, it isn't exactly a race car, but for all those who desire a greater level of sportiness and wish for enhanced performance, the Alpine brand is definitely the right place to go where you will find what you're looking for.
Precisely, indeed.
Alps.
Alpine, not Alpine.
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 Some time back, I actually had an Alpine radio fitted in my Golf 3. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, indeed.
I used to have an amplifier from those days. Super.
So feel free to write in the comments whether it's Alpine, Alpine, or Elbine. How exactly do you pronounce the word Alpine?
Alps.
Elbine. What I surprisingly like a lot is the driving dynamics of the vehicle. And here we have a route where we can just enjoy a bit of slalom driving without any traffic around. He performs it quite nicely and well balanced. So that really brings joy, also due to the low center of gravity, like 1.5 kilos. There's practically no wobble or envy movement here at all. So he is genuinely agile and truly stable overall.
Absolutely, yes, he's doing that well.
Gradually but steadily, let's dive into the topic of ride comfort. Over the past 4.5 years, we've been working on developing a medium that consistently provides us with stable values on one hand. On the other hand, I also think it offers transparency and fairness to all other vehicles. And this device has certain fluctuations and is called Stefan's popometer. How is it reading today?
Honestly, the seats not only look good, they are also very comfortable to sit in. I have a nice side support. I have good thigh support. Particularly due to this firm suspension, I really call it that, where there are hardly any roll movements. Even when you take corners a bit more briskly or make some sharp and quick steering movements, it holds you exceptionally well in the seat. The suspension handles that wonderfully. It's fun, and I like it a lot.
I can only confirm that. We've installed a steel chassis here. But what is, and that's also surprisingly positive for Renault. Renault has always been a French brand, and the French, they consistently manage to do it well, in my opinion, especially brands like Citroën, Peugeot, and Renault. To beautifully craft such an appealing and lovely softness.
Yes, absolutely.
Here, they successfully managed to create a sense of stable sportiness, in my opinion, because the car is just nicely firm. It's comfortable. And this firm level of comfort, I think, suits the size and overall structure really well.
Right.
That means you can rapidly cruise through the urban environment here. You can quickly and smoothly take on country roads, mountain passes, and winding switchbacks with ease. I believe you can travel comfortably on the highway, even though the vehicle is supposedly just 3.92 meters long, with the matching wheelbase providing a surprisingly smooth ride.
Yes, he can do all that.
And paired with the seats, which you described perfectly, it's also a car where you'd gladly take it for a medium or even long-distance drive. And if you bring along the appropriate amount of time, which is comparable with competitors, it's worth mentioning, you're also sometimes 10, 80, or perhaps around half an hour. Sometimes even significantly longer at the charging station. That's actually all top-notch. The only downside I notice at first glance might also please contribute to our efficient driving style, the weather with 5 degrees, and our short distances here. It says 23.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers on the onboard computer. That's honestly quite a remarkably respectable figure for such a small 3.92 meter long cute little vehicle.
That's ambitious for sure.
Of course, we also tested performance, clothing, drove 155 on the highway. You will likely be able to drive it for noticeably less than 20.
Particularly in the city, I'm not concerned at all.
Likely below 15 during summer, yes.
Definitely.
Let's move forward to the concluding thoughts about the Renault 5, which is being showcased here in the specific Techno 150 comfort range configuration. I'm genuinely thrilled that Renault successfully accomplished it after 52 long years, to bring such an impressively stunning Renault 5 to life.
Sure.
I truly believe it will capture the hearts of many, not only from ladies but also from gentlemen, and it could indeed serve not only as a second car for some, but perhaps even for individual people as well. Living in cities might see it as a really cool and stylish first car choice, I truly believe. We have a great operating system here with Google Automotive, which is open for the future through the Google Play Store. We offer wireless or wired connectivity, including Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, to mirror our phones. And we essentially have a trendy car that, with very few exceptions, also boasts a good mix of high-quality materials. In the back, it's different. We've clearly addressed that. And where there's still room for improvement, which could be due to our test model, is in the area of the assistance systems. I would wish for a bit more optional and semi-autonomous assistance support available there. Maybe that's available for an extra charge. Then also with a steering assistant. And this adaptive cruise control, yeah, others have it too, where you have to press the little button. I honestly do wish he could somehow manage to read the traffic sign a little bit earlier. When you press the little test button on the steering wheel in time, you can actually drive at the new speed limit at the sign and not drive into it with the preset speed. Then you press the button and simply hope that there's nobody standing there ready with a camera to flash at us. Because we always drive within the traffic regulations, Stefan.
Absolutely, yes.
And I can only recommend that you do the same. So in that regard, I believe Renault still has some room for improvement. Otherwise, it's nice and sporty, snappy. I really like this denim fabric. The midnight blue looks awesome with the black pearl roof. Well, with this golden, I mean, it's all quite fancy.
They truly put a significant amount of effort and detailed attention into every aspect of it.
In Frank's plan, maybe the double loading floor is missing. More power can always help. Feel free to write in the comments about how you see the Renault 5, but for example, what's cooler is that we have a cardan.
Sure thing.
I'm genuinely eager to hear what you guys think about the R5. Let's exchange some thoughts on that. We're back right now at the Renault dealership Pia Hauwiak. They have locations in Neubrandenburg and in Waren and der Müritz. And with that, we have come to the end of today's video presentation. I hope you give the video a thumbs up. Please check again if you're part of the Einfach elektrisch community, because if not, we'd be happy. When you support us with your subscription, it's free, but it helps us enormously with our ongoing work. Then maybe we'll see each other more regularly again in the latest electric car video. See you again. The Renault 5 is, of course, available in different configurations, exhibition variants. Feel free to explore the configurator to see which option fits your needs and preferences best. And if you're in search of something that has a sportier feel encouraged to look towards Alpine models and similar options available. And I say thank you for watching. Stay healthy and see you soon. Your Olli, you Stefan. What I find really stylish are all these little intricate details everywhere. Like here with the golden line, then the black roof, dark blue, nice black glossy rims with winter tires. You know, they don't have to look like a manhole cover like with the Smart. Also, the details like having a charge status indicator here and then having signatures in the headlights like the tricolor and the daytime running lights below. The rooster in the windshield. Renault really spoils you with endless details. This is indeed a very stylish car.